Welcome to a Paralytic Activities podcast. Now, if you can hear any disturbance in the background, we are sat in the BOODOG Tavern in my garden where we do the podcast, and it is fucking pissing down, ain't Neil?
Well, John, it's supposed to be summer,
It is.
and it's rained now for 2 weeks.
It's raining cats and dogs, Neil. That's what it is.
It is, yeah. I can hear them yapping outside.
Anyway, so yeah, apologies for that. We can't control the weather, unfortunately. But Neil, we're on to episode 6
Already?
So there you go. We are your one-stop shop for all things spooky, kooky, weird, and scary, all done with some light-hearted banter with an ale or two. Because, Neil, even in the darkest place on the planet, you need a bit of light.
You know,
That's
sounds
true.
like, John.
What?
Spooky, kooky, and all that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a tribute to the Spice Girls.
Does it? In what way?
Well, you got spooky and you got kooky.
Oh, you got scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of every time you say it.
Where's Posh?
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm John, by the way, and he's...
Orange.
Or Neil. Or Ned. So, Neil, what have we got for episode 6? What have we got for episode 6? Ow, 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 ow! I hear you all asking. I do. That's not the cats and dogs yapping in the garden because it's pissing down. Well, Neil, it's all forest related tonight. All forest related, not the football team. Luke, aka the Riddler, or One Take, is going to tell us about the Alabama White Thang. It's called the White. No, it's not the White Thing.
Oh, isn't it?
It's a White Thang.
White
because
Thang.
it's a twang because it's Alabama. You know what I mean?
I've worn a few of them, John, to be honest.
Yeah.
White thong.
Not a white
No,
thong, Neil.
sorry.
They definitely wouldn't be white if you'd been wearing them. I can tell you that. And that's in this week's Cryptid Factor. And then we're off to the deep woods of the US of A, Neil. That's where we are. And a chilling encounter with an abandoned house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're off to East Proctor, Neil, for flick the screen. I said thick the screen. Now it's flick the screen and American Werewolf in London in a nutshell. And then Orange has got a little tale in Orange Spills the Juice about the Cannock Chase incident. It's all forest related, Neil. But before we get going, you need to crack open tonight's Paranormal Ale. What have we got today?
Well, Johnny boy, believe it or not, I know you might call me a bullshitter, but we've got werewolf beer, right?
Bullshit.
An American Werewolf in London beer.
Where the hell have you got that from?
John,
Do you know what? Cafe Metro, they get anything we asked, don't they?
Yeah. And it's called Psycho Billy. And it's an American pale ale, and it's 4.8%. Dried hops with Cascade, whatever that means.
Nice.
Chinook and Citra.
Chinook.
I know, yeah. For a maximum freshness and big citrus aromas. I'm going to crack it open now.
And pour it out, kid.
I will.
Sounds fantastic.
But I've got one thing, a bone to pick with it, John.
What's that then?
I could add to their merchandise.
Could you?
Because I've come up with a slogan for this can.
Okay, then go on.
Drink this if you fancy a change.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Don't say nothing about that. So I think, if anybody's listening, I could have come and work for you.
You could do. That's a nice little tagline, that is.
I tell you.
At least you're barking up the right tree there.
Let me just try some of this.
Neil, give it a swirl and give us a rating on the old ale scale.
Woo! Don't taste too strong. It's only 4.8.
Not bad, not bad. I like that. That 5% could be too strong sometimes.
You can taste the citra in it, citrus.
Nice.
And it is right. It tastes a bit dry. But it is nice. It's very nice. I'd say 4.3 on the older ale scale,
Well,
Johnny boy.
I'm going to try it now. Give me a good old slurp. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. The dryness, it's certainly dry. I reckon a 4.2 for me.
Yeah.
It's not a bad drink. I can only have a couple.
When you first drink, you feel like you're changing into a werewolf, don't you?
You do, yeah.
Your face. Your teeth come out, it's dry.
Get away!
Yeah, it's quite nice. But I love the name of it. I love the can. I love everything about it. Absolutely bloody fantastic.
Have some of that. Neil, let's crack on. Last week's show, Neil, we
Yeah.
got some comments from last week's episode. A good shark is hard to find. We got a comment from a Tracy Linden, Neil.
Yeah.
She said, "Yow all mad heads, that's why we love you." What do you mean by that?
Well, obviously with my dad, John, apparently.
Yeah. But why would you love a mad head?
Well, she goes with Evangeline.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Good point. Straight to the point again, Neil, like that. Jack Painter, straight to the point again. That was class. A man with very few words, Neil.
Oh, no. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's all he said. Hayley Summergill, Neil, she says she was more traumatised by Orange's banana than the sharks. What do you mean by that, Neil?
Well, I went round and seen her to thank her.
No.
To thank her for all like, the lovely comments that, you know what I mean? Sure about the banana boat, yeah.
Well, let's hope she leaves a comment on your visit on the next episode.
But don't tell nobody, John. Don't tell nobody.
Yeah, and
All right.
our good friend Martin Lever, the Warsaw Mothman, he says thanks for the shout out because he gave him a shout out last week, Neil.
Yeah.
And the only reason I've mentioned that is because get involved in the show. You leave us any comments or any questions, and you will get a shout out, Neil.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as
Yeah,
that.
simple
We'll
as
shout you
that.
out and we'll give you a good mention.
I mean-
That's what it's all about.
I mean, that shark show.
That shark
The
show.
shark show last week, John.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to think about this and I thought to myself, how does anybody get eaten by sharks? Can't they hear the music as they're approaching to them? You know what I mean?
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun,
On the
dun,
ears.
dun, dun, dun. Now they're too busy splashing around on the surfboards and paddleboards, are they?
Oh, that's what it is.
That's why. That's why, Neil. Anyway, Neil, something else happened this week.
Well,
Our good friends at Robots for Eyes. It's just Rob. It's not Rob.
yeah.
He's part of Robots for Eyes. And I was just thinking of Rob the other day while I was touching myself.
Jesus Christ.
Um,
Was it robots for Japsoids?
Yeah, Robots for Japs. No, it's our good friends at Robots for Eyes podcast. They gave us an amazing shout out on their podcast this week. Now, please go and check them out. They are fantastic. One of my favourite podcasts, apart from ours, of course. But it's one of my favourite podcasts. They talk about serial killers, murderers, sick bastards, aliens. And this week, they spoke about Bob Ross, which is so far from that list, Neil, of serial killers and murderers, or is it?
Bob Ross the painter.
Or is it, Neil? How do we know that all the paintings Bob Ross painted, that was just where he buried the bodies? You never know.
No.
Now, Bob Ross was a legend. Love him to bits. One of my heroes, Neil, Bob Ross. Yeah. Him with a big perm.
Oh, I know you're
Know what I mean? Love him. Anyway, cheers, Tom, Rob and Anna.
Bless
You'll
you.
do for us. I can tell you bloody that. So there you go, Neil. That's all the shout-outs done.
Yes.
So we're off now. Woo-hoo-hoo! One of my favourite bits of the old podcast, kid.
Here we go.
Guess the horror title, Neil.
Guess the other title.
Guess the horror title. So, I love my horror films. Neil, he likes them, but he never watches films, really, to be honest. Do you, Neil, really?
I do watch films, John. Not as much as you, because I ain't got much time on my hands as you.
So I came up with a little thing. I'm going to mention some random horror films, and guaranteed Neil has never watched them. He has no clue about them whatsoever, and he's going to tell me what they're about just from the title. Ain't that correct?
Yeah.
So tonight's first film, Neil, is Night of the Creeps. What's it all about?
Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps.
Is it about a local nightclub I used to get to that was just full of fucking creeps?
No.
In Warsaw, there's a lot of them.
Creepers,
Trust me.
yeah, a couple of creeperzoids.
Yeah, that's why I don't go down there no more. But Night of the Creeps.
What is the synopsis, the premise of this film, Neil? What is it?
What do you mean?
What's it about?
Yeah, what's it about? Well, it's got to be somebody who gets the creeps at night.
Okay, it's not that at all.
Oh, what is it, then, John?
Okay, Night of the Creeps is a horror comedy about two nerdy college students who, in a desperate bid to join a fraternity, steal an alien-infected corpse as part of like a hazing exercise. We try and get into the fraternity. But they wind up releasing an extraterrestrial scourge upon the town. It's kind of a 50s B movie, part zombie, part slasher, part alien. It's a horror comedy classic that's supposed to leave you in stitches, Neil. That's what it is. That's what it's about. But there's a couple of things which are kind of what I wanted to bring up about the film. The heads of all the infected zombies split open when the eggs in their brains mature into slugs, and they spit them out. So there you go. So they get infected by these alien slugs. And when their heads split open, the slugs come out and infect other people.
Oh God!
Yeah. And there's a quote from a Detective Cameron, Neil, in the film. He goes, I got good news and I got bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here. What's the bad news? They're all dead.
There you go.
So there you go, Neil. That's Night of the Creeps. Film number 2. This is called Mystics in Bali. What's it about?
Bloody hell. What's her name of X Factor, John?
Sharon Osbourne.
No.
I don't know, Neil. What is X Factor?
X Factor, John?
The music.
No, not X Factor. The other one.
Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah. The singer.
Ashley Dickinson.
Amanda
Holden.
No, the other one.
Dickinson. What's the name?
Amanda Holden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dixon
of Kuala Lumpur. Who are you on about, John?
I have no idea. Neil. Just get on. What's Mystics in Bali?
And I thought is on about the band Mystique.
No.
I'm getting confused here, John.
The film's called Mystiques in Bali.
Mystiques in Bali.
Oh, I'll get what you mean now. Yeah, she was a lead singer in a band, Mystique. Yeah. They were shit.
Tour in Bali.
That was crap. No, Neil. Thanks for that. That went on way too bloody long.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
I'm gonna take. Well, you've just kind of said what it's about.
It's got to be some...
But that's not right. You're not even close. Mystics in Bali is an Indonesian cult classic about a woman who travels to Bali to research the occult, Neil. When she gets there, she encounters a witch who curses her, turning her into a leek.
Seriously?
Not a leek as in the vegetable.
What then?
It's called a leek, but it's spelled Leyak. Liak. It's a folkloric creature whose head can detach from its body so that it might fly about and suck the blood of the innocent.
Oh, no, it's just a mosquito.
So the head floats off her body and like a vampire and starts attacking people and eating them and gets sucking the blood. And apparently it's the holy grail of Asian cult cinema, and for good reason too. Yeah. So there you go, Neil. So you're on about Ashley Dixon, aren't you?
Not Ashley Dixon.
Oh, well, I don't know what it's bloody called. It don't matter anyway. It's bloody crap. Absolutely bloody crap.
I forgot her name. Anyway,
yeah. we need to move on with the. That's actually frazzled my brain. That has. What's her name, Neil?
A mistake, eh?
Oh, not Mystics in Bali. Anyway, Neil, going into the forest theme.
Yeah.
That we're going to be talking about today. Now, I've got a story. Yeah, it's all happens in a forest, Neil. It's somewhere in the deep woods of America. And I read the other day, Neil, after coming back from our local woods cannock chase, which to me is the nucleus of paranormal activity in the Midlands. As you well know, it has everything. Black-eyed girls, alien sightings, witchcraft, werewolves, pigmen, and even doggers, Neil.
Oh, John, I think the only thing I've ever seen is doggers, I'll be honest with you.
Well, what doggers, I'm going to explain to people who don't know who doggers are, especially our fans overseas, Neil.
Oh, yeah.
In Hollywood and stuff. They're just sex people, basically. They're sex swappers. You know, they're just people have sex in a car and people come and watch them, basically. That's what they're called, doggers. But, Neil, but they are really spooky woods, aren't they, Neil? And you've got a tale later of what happened to you when you was dogging in cannock chase.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't dogging. Something happened when we was on a paranormal investigation, and in Orange spills the juice, and he's gonna talk about that later.
You know that dogging DVD, John?
Yeah.
I put it on eBay, you know.
Did you?
Yeah, nobody's bought it, but they've got 25 watchers.
Anyway, back to the story. This family were camping in the woods somewhere in America. All I know is that it's kind of a massive nature reserve. That's all I know. The one morning, the kids got up while the parents were cooking breakfast, probably eggs, bacon, bit of scrambled egg, maybe some pancakes, beans that are in America, a bit of maple syrup and stuff, maybe some salted grits. I don't know what they was cooking, but they decided they wanted to go exploring. Now, they'd been to the same spot a few times, so the parents knew it was going to be safe. So they let them go. There's no mutants, no skin mask-wearing freaks, and hopefully no bears or wolves. Neil, I was thinking about this the other day. You know, we've done the sharks last week.
Yeah.
Bears scare me as well.
Bears.
Bears,
Yeah, the big grizzly bears.
the big grizzly bears, polar bears, all them,
Yeah.
Bears. If one of them come at you,
You
forget
got no
it.
chance, Sean.
forget it.
You've got no chance. They've got bigger claws than a werewolf. Yeah.
They have. Which actually got me thinking. Now, we talked about sharks last week. So here's a question for you. And anybody else who wants to answer it. Who would you fight? A shark, a bear, or a silverback gorilla? Who would you want to
Oh,
fight?
God.
Who would you want to fight? That's what I want to know.
Well, it wouldn't be a shark because the sharks are a lot better advantage of us. Because I ain't the best swimmer. I know Ellie Simmons, you know what I mean? John.
Who's Ellie Simmons?
A little dwarf swimmer from Walsall. Okay. You know what I mean? I ain't the best swimmer in the world.
A dwarf swimmer.
Yeah, right.
Which swims in the shallow end.
Yeah. You know, John dives off the boards and everything. That's to land in the water. And so sharks are out the question because that's their territory, right?
Yeah.
So you got the polar bears you're on about, or big
just bears in general, Neil. I don't mean
if it was
I don't mean like Yogi Bear.
Well, if it was a polar bear on a glacier mint,
you ain't got a chance there.
I ain't got a chance because I got no spikes on my trainers on my Adidas.
Well, Neil, you'd probably be eating the glacier mint.
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah. And what was the other one?
A silverback gorilla.
I think I could wrestle a silverback gorilla, John.
I don't think you could, Neil. Silverback gorilla is one of the strongest animals on the planet. He'd probably rip you in half in one, like he's ripping a lottery ticket.
Seriously?
Yeah. Just tear you in half. Done.
Well, I'm going to be dead anyway, aren't I?
So who would you want to? Who would you? Do you know a bear stands on 2 feet, so you can actually like box it?
No, John. No, John. I think silverbacks. I could tell them a joke and make them laugh. So they'd start with being bugging each other. I'll be fighting.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like the same like us, aren't they? From back in the day. So they're going to have a bit of a sense of humour. So if I start laughing, what have you?
Yeah.
He's going to think, oh, he's all right, really.
But last week you said that to get away from a shark or a great white, you've only got to poke it on the nose.
No, I don't say that. A little freak at work said that.
No. The little freak.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the story. So the kids set off on an exploration. There was 4 of them. They walked for about an hour when they noticed a dirt track leading towards a wooden fence. And the whole place was overgrown. You know, probably the grass was about knee length, Neil. It was that overgrown. And they had to brush the tree branches away to see where they was going, kind of thing. Now, as they emerged from the bushes, they came to that wooden fence, what they saw in the distance. And there in front of them was an old derelict house. There was quite a few of them. You know, really, it was totally like ramshackled. You know what I mean? They all said, you know, cool, let's go and check them out, Neil. So they did. You know what I mean? There was about 6 houses. Some looked worse than others, with collapsed roofs and broken windows, etc. And some of them, the forest had been growing in, so you know, nature was reclaiming them houses.
Yeah.
So they'd been there a while. It was like a lost community, which had been left quiet for years, basically. Now, the kids didn't mind. Well, Neil, you know when we was young, right? We got up to some shit, don't we?
Yeah.
We would have done the same. We would have got straight there, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
No, we don't really care. When you're at that age, you don't really care, do you? You got no fear as such, have you?
Every time, I remember the time we go to Peck Park, we used to go over the railway lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And
we used to hang upside down on the bloody under the motorway.
Yeah, I know.
Jump off like fences.
Yeah. Rolling stingers.
Yeah.
We'd just be ponners on.
I remember the once that me and a couple of friends, we was jumping over people's back gardens and nicking the washing off the line, running down the street wearing other people's pajamas and stuff. I'm not proud of it,
I know, yeah.
But, you know, you get up to some weird shit, don't you?
You do.
Because it's a laugh, it's a goof, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's a goof. So anyway, as they continued to explore the houses, they came upon a house that didn't look as bad as the others. And as they peered through the windows, they noticed that it kind of looked normal inside. The furniture was still there. It was covered in debris and crap and leaves and stuff. The dining table still had plates and cutlery on it. There were shelves with books, etc. It's just like everyone had just vanished now. The house was just left.
And just like they've gone to the shop or whatever.
Yeah, just gone to the shop and never returned.
Yeah.
We're going out for a bottle of milk, love.
Yeah.
We're back in a bit. 10 years later, now sorry.
Nothing.
No one was there, Neil. It was just left, and that was it. But like I said, they didn't care, so they all went in. There was dust and leaves, etc., all over the place. Nobody had been there for ages because there was no footprints. There was nothing kind of disturbed, so you could tell that no one had been there for a while. They went upstairs. They checked every nook and cranny. It was like a house what was been frozen in time, like it was set up to look like a museum or something. But they still felt something was off with the house. Something wasn't right because all the other houses, Neil, were fucked. There was just this one.
That was all right.
That was all right, you know. I mean, even on in the bedrooms, there's clothes on the beds. The beds were still made. The people had just basically disappeared. But one of the kids said, I feel like we're being watched, which straight away sent a fear to the others. So they ran out as fast as they could. And I don't blame them, Neil.
I'd have gone.
Because you never know. There's some weird people about out there.
Yeah.
So the scarp, they legged it basically. When they got back to where they was camping, they told the parents about what they had found. Now, one of the dads said, I'd love to go see. So that afternoon, they went back to the spot. And guess what, Orange? Guess what? Guess what when they went back to that spot?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I ain't got a clue.
Think? What do you think?
I ain't got a clue. Come on, John. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Nothing. It was still the same. I was expecting you to say.
Still the same.
I was expecting you to say, was the house is gone?
Yeah.
Was it not even there?
Well, I was gonna, but I thought I'd give it all
No.
away.
Give what away? No. I expect that's what I said, but no. They were still there. So they went to the house and they went straight to the one without the contents still there, and they went in. Now, the dad knew straight away it had been abandoned for a while, as there was no footprints apart from the kids. Probably saw like the Nike signs on the floor and stuff like that, the trainers. And so they went upstairs. Now, the dad noticed a coat on one of the beds. He noticed it was a real fur coat, Neil. A real fur coat. And he goes, that's expensive. So, like a dickhead, he goes, I'm having that for the wife. It's a bit dusty, but, you know, she'll appreciate, you know, have a good wash. I don't know if you can wash fur coats, Neil. I'm not too sure. But so he took it anyway. And, you know, waste not, what not, I suppose. You know, why let a good coat like that go to waste? So they explored the house for a little bit before heading back because it was beginning to get dark, which I don't blame them again for that. Now, as they walked off, an unsettling noise came from the house. They said it sounded like a lady crying, but with some emotion, you know what I mean? It was quite clear, and they stated that it didn't sound like an animal. Now, as they all turned round in shock, they all saw an old woman standing in the bedroom where the fur coat was taken. Her hair was in a bun. She had a really pale face, and she was wearing attire, clothes, not from this time period. So she looked, you know, from back in the day.
Yeah.
Now, they all panicked and began running, but the dad felt guilty about the coat and steadily made his way back to the house. Now, as he got closer, the lady walked away from the window and out of the room. Now, the dad just thought she was going to come down the stairs, so he had his apologies waiting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was ready. He was ready to say sorry, saying, we thought it was no one's coat. Didn't think much of it. But she never came down, Neil. She never came down. So he poked his head in and shouted to her, apologise, I'm sorry about the coat. I'm just going to leave it here. Now, the kids, they was by the fence, keeping their distance. I don't blame them. Now, the dad entered the property and was just about to leave the coat there when he heard footsteps upstairs, Neil.
God.
And as he looked up, he could see the lady walking from room to another room. And then again, he heard the crying. So he thought, oh, God. He thought, I've really upset her here. You know what I mean? I've nicked a coat. That could be like a family heirloom for all I know. So he made his way up gingerly, up the stairs, ready to apologise. And as he reached the doorway, the crying stopped and there was no one there. He looked around the house. but couldn't see where this person had gone. There was nowhere else she could have gone apart from out the window. So his blood ran cold. He peered out of the window where he could see the kids. They was gesturing for him to come back. Then they all heard an almighty crash. And as the dad looked out the window across at the other house, the decrepit one with the sunken roof and that, he saw a tall man in the top window. And he smashed the window so ferociously that everybody heard it. Now, he was also dressed in old-timey clothing. He had like old-timey clothing on and a bowler hat. Again, not from this time period. Now, the dad, as that happened, he heard a voice shout, "Get out." Now, you always hear that, don't you? It's like a horror thing, isn't it? Everyone always hears, "Get out." But he heard it from behind him. He looked round, couldn't see anything. So he just scarpered out the room, Neil. He legged it. And as he reached the kids, he was terrified and shook up a little bit. The kids told him that the lady was stood right behind him, which again sent chills down him.
Sent chills down me.
Now, because that lady had vanished, he glanced around one last time. He looked up at the window, but this time the man who was in the other house was now stood behind the lady and just stood there glaring down at the terrified group. They all scarpered. For one, how did the man get to the lady with no one seen? And they never found out who or what they was, because the houses was all sealed off and eventually knocked down. So they never knew what the hell went on that day in them abandoned houses.
Jesus Christ.
What are your thoughts on that? Paranormal?
John,
or just two crazy people who don't want to leave their house? I don't know.
Well, come on, John. That's got to have been two full-bodied apparitions for a start. Got to have been.
Well, that would be my kind of thought process on it all. One, because where did she go? Has she got a secret hiding place? Why is she dressed like she's from the 50s or the 40s?
Yeah, get a fancy dress party, John.
And why is the other bloke in the abandoned house with the roof sunk in?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's in the other house?
And he smashed the window.
Yeah.
Windows don't smash by themselves, John.
You don't know that, but can a ghost smash a window?
Why not?
It's energy, eh? It's just energy.
If a ghost can move something.
Now, being kind of a logical thinker, I was thinking, is it paranormal or is it just two Homish people who just don't want to leave their property, even though all the houses around them have all kind of like been overtook by nature?
John,
do you know what I mean?
Surely to God.
But then again, what was no footprints?
If you was looking out the window and your kid said that the woman was standing right behind you,
yeah,
you know that somebody's standing right behind you.
This is very true. You would. But he did hear the word "get out" as well.
Exactly.
But what was there now like footprints? No, nothing disturbed. I would have checked the fridge. If there was like a packet of chicken wings,
yeah,
and a 4-pack of Budweiser or something,
yeah,
you think actually somebody's stopping here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if they had some like mouldy pig heads,
yeah,
and flies and shit, then you think, yeah, no one's been here for a while.
But they said get out. If she'd have said, "Give my coat back,"
my coat,
my coat,
the fair coat, yeah.
Then I'll think, oh, some old lady who likes dressing up in 1800 clothing or something.
But I like that story because
I
one,
enjoyed that.
One, it's a true story, and two, you can't decipher whether it's paranormal or not, and no one will ever know.
Well, it's never going to be proven, is it?
It's either two spooks, or it's two old people who don't want to let go, or it's just two crazy bastards who dressed up like Amish people just to scare people for the crack. You know what I mean? For the fun of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, John. That's definitely paranormal. I'd like to have seen that myself. I mean,
I bet you would.
Well, would you?
Whew, got to get my breath after that, Neil.
No,
do you know what? I read it the other day, and like the hairs on the back of my head stood up at end.
Yeah.
Imagine us in the woods investigating,
yeah.
and we came upon these abandoned houses,
yeah.
and then we saw that.
Oh, I don't know if I do a paranormal investigation.
I don't think I would, Neil. I don't think I would.
I'll be honest with you, because it just freaked me out, that would.
It
I'm
would.
scared to open my eyes in my own house. Are you?
I would. But anyway, talking of paranormal investigations and abandoned woods and haunted woods, Neil, it's time for Orange Spills the Juice.
Yes.
As we all well know, Orange is one of the unluckiest, clumsiest people we know, and this happened on one of our first ever paranormal investigations when we didn't have a fucking clue what we was doing. Exactly. So Neil, this is the Cannock Chase incident. What happened? What happened? Take it away.
Well, I've called it the Cannock Chase.
Okay.
You know what I mean? John, this was our very first test invest as paralytic activities.
Yeah.
You know that. There was me, John, the Riddler, and we decided to go to Cannock Chase Woods, in the dark, of course. So we get out the car and head off to the deeper woods. It was getting darker and darker. Then we realised none of us had bought a bastard torch. That's how unprofessional we was.
Schoolboy error.
Right? Like a bunch of dickheads. All we had was night vision goggles. By now it's pitch black. I didn't like it because I got the woods anyway, John. You know what I'm like.
Why would I buy night vision goggles when I can't do anything with them?
I don't know, John.
Do you know what? I blame Dan Aykroyd in Ghostbusters because he had night vision goggles, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or the little kid out of Jurassic Park. Know what I mean? Carry on.
Anyway, we had these night vision goggles, pitch black. I didn't like it because if I see a person at that time of night in the woods by himself, John, he's definitely a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
A maniac.
Uh-huh.
Or a psychopath.
One of the three.
Simple as that. Because put a light on my phone and that's all we had, John. And these people, if somebody's out in the woods by himself, you know he's going to be a fucking nut job.
Yeah.
Right? I was starting to feel a bit panicky at this point, John. Then the dreaded word came as I got into deeper of the woods. These words I will never forget. Him here with his bloody night vision goggles on. I've just seen an head pop behind the tree. Right? All we had was my torch on my phone. That was it. And I went, John, stop winding me up. Stop fucking winding me up.
I'm sure it was Luke who said that, you know.
It was you, John.
Was he?
Yeah. Just an head pop from behind the tree with the night vision goggles on. I said, piss off, John, stop winding me up. So Luke had a look for him. Lo and behold, he said something moved by the tree about 20 yards in front of us. Well, this time, John, my ticker is popping out my chest.
Why are you taking Chicken Tikka with you to an investigation?
You know what I'm on about, John, my heart.
Okay.
Right? A bit like, you know, in the cartoons when he's pounding, you can see the art
Like in the mask.
Yeah, yeah. I thought, fuck it, I need a weapon.
We had me and Luke.
No, John, I won't enough. I'll put this stick up just in case you wanted a rumble, you know what I mean?
You never know.
I had to deck turn up. And I said, pass the goggles here, you know, let me have a look. I think you just winded me up. Like, you know, I was a bit freaked out by this time. I've got the kid out Jurassic Park when he spots a T-Rex, you know, when he's giving, turn off the light and all that shit. Anyway, I'm looking left, right. I can't see nothing. Then I look down the path that we're heading, and lo and behold, there's this big motherfucking deer, and it wasn't a little Bambi, John.
I was there, Neil.
This deer was fucking massive.
It was huge.
And he's there with night vision goggles on.
Yeah. He was on a stag do.
He's on a stag do, right? Yeah, but he cold smoke coming out of his snot box, scraping one foot on the floor. I capped my ponners.
What a ponners, no?
Pants. I capped my pants.
You got to explain this.
Yeah, I know. Because without the goggles, I couldn't see a thing, John. But obviously, he could see us. That's why I think deers have got night vision, John.
I don't know. They might have, Neil. I don't know.
And
They've got to see in the dark because they go out feeding all times of night. They've got to see some kind of shit.
Yeah, I know.
Because in the deep, dark woods, you can't see nothing.
Exactly, but he could see us. I could see it in his eyeballs, John.
Oh, we could see us without a doubt.
Yeah. And I thought he's going to charge me.
It's a good job. You only had 50 pence on you. Once you got you very far.
I thought he was going to hook his antlers onto my belt, take me into the woods,
and butt rape you.
Probably. I'll probably live off me for a couple of years.
Well, it's been a while, eh?
Yeah. And I thought it's time to go, John. You know, it's their territory at the end of the
It
day.
is. We're in there.
You
We're in
know.
their world now, people.
And this tosser just don't like us, man.
No.
I could see it in his eyeballs, John.
He was
the way he's
fuming,
looking
Neil.
at me. You know when he did that with the fingers. I'm fucking coming for you.
I'm sure he picked up his hoof and rubbed it across his neck like he was going to slit our throats.
That's what it felt like. But if it had charged us, John, I wouldn't have been able to see him come at me.
Now, you'd have run into a massive oak tree and knocked yourself out.
Probably would have, yeah. Like he met Jurassic Park and a big fat geezer. With a can of thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, bust a tree and then that's what it'd have been like.
It's Dodson!
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, I do not like Cannock Chase Woods.
Why, Neil?
Because
it's massive. It's full of paranormal activity, apparently. It's full of pig men. A bloke who wears a pig on his head, which apparently dog men, bark men. There's that many different men there.
Yeah, where are all
And
the
then-
women?
I know. This is it. Where's all the witches, the naked witches, dancing round fires and stuff? Where are them?
Where are the titty women?
Neil, do you remember a couple of weeks back? We went to a pub, didn't we? Me, you, and Jack McAvoy. And we came out the pub, and the pub was on the brink of Cannock Chase. And what did we hear in the middle of the chase, Neil? We had singing, didn't we?
Yeah.
Remember, we could hear people singing in the dark in the middle of Cannock Chase.
It was like a choir, wasn't it?
It was a cult, Neil.
A cult, yeah. Probably
It was
a
like
cult.
they were doing witchcraft and shit.
And
And it still happens today.
I went to get in the car and all this blood landed in my hair. I think they were killing animals, John.
Was they?
Throwing them about.
Might have been that deer.
Might have been, John, I don't know. But yeah.
That,
Don't go to Cannock Chase.
we're going there next week, Neil.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we are, yeah. And not dogging.
Well, I wouldn't mind giving dogging, Johnny boy.
Well, it's been a while, eh, kid? It's been a while.
Now.
Anyway, talking of dogging, our good friend, Luke One Take Walker, has sent us another cryptid factor.
Has he?
He has. We've got another cryptid factor. This is his opinion of the Alabama White Thang.
White Thang.
Now, don't forget, people, this is just Luke's opinion. Because he's, one, he's a good friend. 2, he's part of paralytic activities. And 3, he's a cryptid expert, Neil.
He is, yeah.
Let's see what he's got to say about the White Thang.
All right, me man. Now strap in. We're off to Alabama. We're off to see the White Thang. Now the White Thing, how did they name it? This one. What is that thing? What thing? That white thing over there. It's described as 8 feet tall, covered in white hair and glowing red eyes. Sounds like orange after a rave. It's even got its own song. White thing, you make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. It's got to be another Bigfoot, just an albino. I'll believe in it. I'll believe in Bigfoot. We'll touch on that one on another day, but I think it's real. I do. Call me soft. I don't care. I believe it. What do y'all lot think? Let us know. Turn on me muns.
So there you go.
So he's saying that it's like me after a rave, yeah?
Yeah, you are the Alabama White Thang, Neil.
The big gut. I've just seen a big gut in Alabama. White hair, frothing up the mouth and big red eyes.
Running away from a deer.
You're running away from a deer, yeah.
Now, Neil, I love anything about cryptids, me, right? But the White Thang, right? It was reported in the 1940s. That's when it was first reported,
Yeah.
and it kind of wanders the area between Morgan, Etowah, and the Jefferson counties. He's described as, like the Riddler just said, is white in colour, covered in hair. It's you in it.
I ain't got hair on me, John.
Neil, everyone, you're not bald.
John, I'm like an oven-ready chicken.
Well, your balls do look like the last chicken in
Oh,
Sainsbury's.
John, shut up. How do you now?
Yeah, so he's white in colour, covered in hair. He was reportedly 6 feet tall, and he's got glowing red eyes, just like Luke was saying. Now, legend has it that the White Thang has the ability to move extremely quickly.
That's
It's
me.
how you.
It is, John.
It's how you.
You know, racquetball, I'll move faster than you, mate.
Yeah, but there's running through the woods at a pace, and there's going a couple of yards in a racquetball court is not exactly the same thing.
I used to be a 100-metre runner.
Did you? How long did it used to take you?
Depends how far the ship bomb was.
He's chasing the ice cream man down the street. Hold up, Barry! I need me 99.
I'll be making without sprinkles.
Barry! That's Barry's ice, is our local ice cream man. Yeah, so the white Thang can move extremely quickly, and he is also known for his eerie screech that has the sound of a woman's scream.
Yeah.
I reckon the white Thang was in that bloody abandoned house.
Huh?
You know what I mean? That could have been what. Do you know, like the old Red Riding Hood, where the wolf dresses up as the old woman?
Yeah.
That could have been the white Thang dressed up as that woman. You know what I mean?
You know that little red. You reckon the wolf was a tranny?
He could have been, Neil. He could have been.
Jesus Christ.
So Neil, that's the Alabama white thing. You got to look at him. He looks cool in the gang. He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just looks like a cool Bigfoot with white hair. You know, I mean, you can imagine it in like a pimp suit with a cane strutting through the woods.
A bit like Hulk Hogan.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah.
So you reckon Hulk Hogan could be a shaved white Thang?
He probably could be.
There you go.
They've shaved him down. left his balls patted. Some hair around the back.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Anyway, the Hulk Hogan was massive in the 80s, Neil.
I know,
He was massive in the 90s as well.
He was, Johnny. Don't get any smaller.
But he's still massive now, Neil.
No, he is,
Still massive now. I remember a good friend of mine. We was doing impressions this Sunday afternoon, Mr. Nigel Nightingale, and he decided to do an impression of Hulk Hogan, Neil.
Yeah.
And you know his big white moustache, his big handlebar moustache.
Yeah.
He made it out of a Yorkshire pudding and stuck it to his face.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, no, it's not, Neil, because for the next 3 weeks he had spots in an handlebar around his face from the greasy Yorkshire pudding.
Seriously?
He did, yeah, Neil. Anyway, so Hulk Hogan was massive in the 80s. And that leads us on to our flip the screen, our little movie section. And sticking with forests and stuff.
Yeah.
One of our favourite films of all time
Yes.
is American Werewolf in London. And we're going to do it in a nutshell now. That's what we're going to do. Now, I hope this is going to work. I really do, because I've put a lot of effort and time into this now.
Can I ask you a quick question, John?
Of course you can.
Right. Who's your favourite werewolf? I'm going to give you some options. Now I'll say nothing, yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be a tough one for me. This is
The Thriller Werewolf.
good call. Good call. Get away!
American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
The Howling
Ooh,
Werewolf.
yeah.
Teen Wolf.
Oh God, I love a bit of Teen Wolf.
Or Richard Keys.
You could have said Robin Williams. Sorry, rest in peace, Robin. But he was an hairy bastard as well, wasn't he?
Richard Keys is a presenter of Sky. Used to be a presenter of Sky TV, and he was just one hairy bastard.
He was. He was that hairy that when there was a full moon, he turned into a human.
Yeah.
That's how hairy he was.
And they wouldn't let him go on telly before 12 o'clock with the John.
Well, I've got my answer, Neil. I'm not. Richard Keys couldn't give two fucks about it, to be fair.
Well, he got married the other day to a 25-year-old bed.
Jammy get.
I know, yeah.
Key in the door.
Yeah.
Love Thriller. I do.
Yeah.
Love American Werewolf, of course. But I love Teen Wolf.
Oh.
Cheese Louise.
Yeah.
Love it. I love Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
I love him then and I love him now. You know what I mean? Absolutely fantastic. He's a bloody legend, Neil. And Teen Wolf was brilliant back in the day. I mean, who else would have a wolf dancing on top of a van?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Give me a keg of beer. And you know, he's done that impression now for 30 years. Every time he walks into Morrison's or Sainsbury's, give me a 4-pack. Because we don't have kegs here, do we? You know what I mean? In a good old England.
Kegs are pants in this country.
Yeah. They're your trousers, basically. Now, Neil, Hulk Hogan, 1981. It was American Werewolf was a comedy horror which dropped, directed by John Landis and it raked in 62 million worldwide. Neil.
Good.
Not bad, because it only cost 9 million to make.
Good.
So there you go. Now I am going to go straight into it, Neil, because I remember sitting there. It was a Sunday tea time. It was close to winter, so it was already getting dark. You know what I mean? I was only a young pup, but I used to go every time I went up the video shop at the top of the road. I'd get an horror film, wouldn't I? I mean,
Yeah.
I was how old was I? Neil? About 9, 10.
Yeah.
And it'd give me triple X's. You don't care. Have that. Have that. Have Emmanuel. Have bloody
Yeah.
Soldier Blue.
You know,
have Cannibal Ferox. Cannibal
I'll
Holocaust.
just say one thing about these
I was only a kid.
these video shops, John.
Yeah.
How good was it going up these video shops and picking your videos?
It was like Disneyland.
It was.
Like
And then
Disneyland.
you come back and you got like a top loaded video.
Yeah.
And you put it in and you press play with your foot.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Or if you was posh, you had a wire on a controller on a wire.
You did, yeah.
Right now. But what used to make me laugh, John, when you took the video back, you go 50 pence extra. What was that then? You are around the video.
I know, yeah. You made a fortune.
He did, yeah. It's something special.
It was.
It was something special.
So anyway, it was beginning to get dark, and as I sat there watching the opening 15 or so minutes, I was gripped in pure terror as the two main characters roam the moors, and to this day it still sticks with me, especially when we go ghost hunting and that, and we go in the forests and stuff and the woods, because that scene still sticks with me. We always mention American Werewolf, don't we, when we do it every single time. We always sing Blue Moon, or what's the other one, Neil? We'll stick with Blue Moon for now. It's up there with one of the best opening sequences of all time, especially in horror. So I am going to do my little take, Neil. I don't know how this is going to go, of a American Werewolf in a nutshell. Yeah. Ready? Blue moon, you saw me standing alone,
without a tear in my eye. Yeah.
Thanks for that. A truck drives down a road surrounded by the Yorkshire moors. It comes to a stop. Out pops a farmer. Then out the back of the truck, two American tourists wearing puffer jackets. Jack and David. Right, lads. East Proctor's that way. I go this way. Stick to roads. Stay off the moors. They head off to the village of East Proctor. Why? I don't know. It's getting dark, so they enter a pub called The Slaughtered Lamb. You got any food? Any soup? No, we got beers and spirits. You're in Yorkshire now, sunshine. What's the 5-pointed star on the wall? You made me miss. There's no food here. Go on, sod off. So Jack and David leave. You can't let them go. The werewolf will have them. It's murder. Well, murder it is then. Here we go. Come on, where are you? Oh, I'll tell you what. Hold up. Do that again, Neil. Rewind. Just a bit light off your mark there, Winston. David, it's a full moon, and we're lost on the moors. The rain pisses down. Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. What's that? Bosher, the wolf attacks, uppercutting Jack and tearing him a new arsehole. He's dead. Then he goes for David's jugular, but just a scratch. Bang! The pub's local. Shoot the wolf. Dead. Done. David wakes up in a hospital in London. Why London? I don't know. He's having night terrors about himself, Billy Bollock naked, with his meat and two veg flapping in the breeze, chowing down on some deer and rabbits. Now, Jack shows up from beyond the grave, looking like yesterday's roast beef. You're a werewolf, David. You've got to kill yourself before you kill others. A sexy nurse takes David back to her flat. Why? I don't know. But they get it on with a bit of a slap and tickle. She goes to work, leaving David alone. The full moon rises. David turns into a werewolf and goes on a killing spree. Then wakes up naked in a zoo. I'm a werewolf. I'm a werewolf. I killed those people, he screams. Panic-stricken, David heads into a porno theatre. See you next Wednesday as a Big Ron and Brusty Bender are bonking on the big screen. Jack shows up with David's victims from last night. Look what you done, you shit. Yeah, you wolfy bastard. David begins turning and chaos ensues. Heads, arms, bodies all rolling down Piccadilly Circus as the wolf David enters an alleyway. Bang! Have that. David the Woolworth, the Woolworths.
Woolworths.
David the Woolworths from the werewolf from Woolworths. He's shot dead. The end. Roll credits.
Bomb the bomb, the bomb, 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 the bomb, the bomb, ding a ding ding a ding a ding ding blue moon, blue 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 blue.
Ding a ding a ding blue 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 moon.
Dippy dippy dip.
Blue 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 moon.
Dippy dip dip.
Bomb did the bomb the bomb the bomb bomb did the bomb did the bomb a ding 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 ding.
Ding 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 blue moon.
And cuts. What a film, Neil.
Brilliant.
Absolutely fantastic.
One of my favourite films.
If you haven't watched American Werewolf in London, watch it with a kind of just take your brain out, have a bloody good time, because it is a bloody good time, Neil. The film's funny.
Brilliant.
It's just comedic,
Iconic.
but it's scary at the same time. Brilliant. Love it.
And he's Rick Miles in it, John.
He is.
Not many people know that.
They don't. Not many people know Rick Mail either.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a shame, because he was a comedy legend, Neil.
Brian
Comedy legend.
Glover. Where was our Brian Glover, John?
Remember the Alamo?
Where was he?
I said it.
I'm on about our Brian Glover in the pub with Winston.
Oh, yeah. But that's for another show. Orange, we just sung that song, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Orange loves his music, like I love my horror films. Orange loves his music. So, Neil, what have you got for us in our little time tunnel of forests and werewolves and ghosts and trees and rabid deer? What have you got for us tonight?
Well, because it's Werewolf Week,
Yes.
right? www.com.
Yeah.
Right? I have gone with a song by Warren Zevon. And it's called
Love it.
Werewolves of London, John.
Yeah.
And the lyrics, to start with, are superb.
I hope you like singing. I really do, because you've had 4 songs today.
Now I'm going to talk this one.
Go on
I'll
then.
just say the lyrics.
Okay.
I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho. He was looking for a place called Leo Fox to get a big dish of beef chow mein. Ahoo! Werewolves of London.
Fantastic.
Fucking brilliant, John. I love it.
Love it.
The song began as a joke to Phil Everly from the Everly Brothers Show
Really?
to Zevon in 1975, year I was born. Everly had watched a television broadcast of 1935, The Werewolves of London,
In 1935?
Yeah.
Really?
and said to Zevon that he adapt the four. No, John, wind me back up, John.
Hold on. Here we go. I'm just winding back up, people.
That he should do this song.
Yeah.
And the dance craze, John.
All right, yeah.
I don't know about the dance craze. I've never watched it.
We will after this.
No, we'll have to leave. But what kind of dance craze? We're like the one in Teen Wolf when they're all doing that.
Do you know what? I love that dance.
Brilliant.
Don't remember the song, but I love that dance.
Yeah. So apparently there was a dance craze as well in 1975 to Werewolves of London.
Yeah, there's one film I watched the other day, and the song's in it. It was in Grown Ups 2.
Really?
Yeah, it's in Grown Ups. It's probably in quite a few more films, to be honest. I mean, apparently, as well, I heard that the start of Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon was voted one of the best intros.
I can understand that.
One of the best
I think it's
intros to a
fantastic.
song. Ever.
Why would you know? Why would it, just look at it? I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand.
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean?
There is a lyric, what tickles me. When he goes, imagine a werewolf, right?
Yeah.
And he's singing about a werewolf being in a suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when a werewolf changes, he gets bigger, so the suit's ripped below the Hulk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he Warren someone goes, I'd love to meet his tailor. You know what I mean? So there you go. And his hair was perfect, apparently.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's Warren Zevon and Werewolves of London. Neil, going back to American Werewolf, right? Do you know the 2 characters, Jack and David?
Yeah.
That was originally going to be played by John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd.
Seriously?
Yeah, John Landis, Blues Brothers. That was going to be Jack and David. So there you go.
Oh, bloody hell.
And also, Michael Jackson loved the film that much. He got John Landis and special effects expert Rick Baker to help with Thriller. And obviously that's where the werewolf scene came from.
Yeah.
Get away! In Thriller.
the guys.
We know that, Michael. We know that. Now, there's a scene in American Werewolf when David, he's just killed all them people, and he wakes up naked again. He likes being naked in this film.
Yeah.
And he's in a zoo, Neil.
Yeah.
Wakes him in a zoo, in like a cage full of wolves. That actually happened. He was filmed naked in a cage full of wolves.
Seriously?
Yeah. He was in there.
Why would you do that?
Don't know, because like the director says it, you do it.
Doesn't be dangerous, eh, John?
Well, there you go. There's probably trained wolves, Neil. I don't think there's wild.
Well,
Right.
John, all animals are wild.
Yeah, I suppose they're in the zoo, but he was fine anyway. He's still alive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet some old.
Even though he was actually in his 30s when he filmed American Werewolf.
Oh, yeah.
And he even though he was in his 30s, he still made his mum and dad go with him to the premiere.
I bet Mom probably going to come with me if I'm going to film like that, John. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he was holding their hand and he had a lollipop in his
John, my mum and dad come to me in a play and I was a snowflake.
You still am. Anyway, Neil, episode 6 is a DUN done. That went all right, kid. Even though I've had a pain in my side all the way through, you know.
Yeah.
All through that, I've had a pain all the way through my right side, and I don't know why. Better go and get it checked out.
Well, you know, John, I don't know if it's because it's the werewolf theme, but I've been dying for a slash ever since we started.
And on that bombshell, we're gonna end the show. But please, if you like this podcast, tell your friends, tell your enemies. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, and some others as well. We're not just type in paralytic activities.
Yeah.
Podcast, and you'll probably find us.
See, you know, leave some comments, ask some questions, get involved with the podcast. You know what I mean? And if there's any chicks that want to check me out, or you know, and talk about it,
Because
you know where I am.
But leave some comments, get involved in the podcast, because we'll give you a good shout out next week.
Yeah.
Or the week after, depends on how many we get. But yeah, definitely do it. Now, we're going to end the show like we always end the show. So I just want to say to all you alien twitchers, you ghost hunters, you cryptid stalkers, if you are out this weekend and you don't get any spirits, just do what we do, Neil. What do we do?
We drink them instead, Johnny boy. Also, wear your t-shirts with pride.
Oh yeah. It's apparently this Saturday. It is what is it, Neil? Proud to be paranormal. So wear your t-shirt.
Show you, buddy.
You know, it's all about bullying and stuff like that. You know, it's a bit of fun as well, isn't it? You know, so I think we'll wear ours, but I'm going to just wear mine naked in the kitchen. We'll just
show me to come round.
Yeah.
So sit there with your moots and 2 veg out.
No, I'm going to have me back. I'm going to.
You're not okay too.
And you'll have your little cat balls out. I did say cat and not cack.
Oh.
So there you go. Yeah, so Neil, what do we do? We drink them. Have you already said that?
Yeah, we drink them instead.
We drink them instead, people. So we're just going to play you out with this little tune. Eventually.
Unbelievable. I'll get this on BBC One.
Okay. Every time, mate, and all the shit. Don't forget,